What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to do kind of a part 2 to what I did last week, where we talked about the soundtrack leaks for Scream 5, Scream 2022, and I didn't cover all of them. I believe the person who actually took the pictures and was circulating, at least originally, the first half of the soundtracks, he messaged me, and he said, like, I can give you the rest of it if you want. I couldn't find them on my own, so I do want to thank him quite a bit. I'm going to butcher your name, Yusuf. I hope that's his first name, so I want to thank him for doing that. So I want to go through the rest of them, kind of sum up my thoughts on it, and we'll go from there. So we talked about some of the songs and what they could mean or could not mean in the first video, the one that I was on last week, and now here we go. There's a track at number 8 named Ghosts, which could confirm the rumors of Billy Loomis appearing in some kind of flashback sequence, maybe in Sam's dream, like that supposed leak had mentioned. Now here's where things get interesting and are potentially spoilery, as if this stuff before it wasn't. There's 3 tracks in a row, tracks 9 through 11, which line up with one of the leaks we've had so far. So there's 2 possibilities. Either the person had made these tracks up to line them up with the leaks to make them seem more credible, or they are just real. Okay, so the first of these tracks is called Judy on Call. The leak said Judy gets a call from Ghostface, who says he's in her house with Wes, her son. Judy then apparently races home in her cop car, where her and Wes are killed by Ghostface. That would be confirmed by the next soundtrack, Bonds of Blood. The same leak has also said that right after Judy and Wes are murdered, Gail reports on it. The next track is called Live on the Scene. Live on the Scene with Gail Weathers. Coincidence? I think not. Anyway, moving on, track number 14 is Hello Sydney, which confirms that Sydney will receive a call from Ghostface. Yay, exciting. Track 15 is named 261 Turner Lane, which, if you don't know, is Stu's house. I think we already know that Stu's house will be returning due to those behind-the-scenes pics, but I suppose this is extra confirmation. That's great. 16th track is for Wes, which I love. I don't know what the scene will be that it'll play over, but I'm really happy about that. Wes deserves it. Master of horror for sure. Lovers Unmasked, this pretty much confirms that 2 of our killers will be in a romantic relationship. A few possibilities there. It could be Sam and Richie, Tara and Amber, or just a completely different couple we don't know of yet that will be introduced during the movie. I find that exciting. We've never really had that kind of killer duo. We did have Jill and Charlie, but as we saw, Jill was using him in the end. We also have Final Girls, which is amazing. I think we all know what that'll be. Some cool scene where our Final Girls walk off into the distance together. Hopefully Sydney, Gail, Sam, and Tara, or it's just some of them together after the final showdown. Either way, sounds really good. And then our final track is named Homecoming. Now this one really excites me. I think it means only one thing. Kirby Reed is alive, and she's heading back to Woodsboro for the next one. This might be the scene before the credits. It might be a post-credit teaser. Who knows? Anyway, let me know your thoughts and whether you think this is true or not. So what's interesting about all of this, and I always find this I guess interesting, even the stuff I talked about last time, is like the order of these songs. One thing I do think is specifically interesting, that I don't know why I keep going to in my head at least, is track 14. So we're talking like one of the last, I guess there's like 15, then there's 60, there may be like 17 or 18 songs. Tracks, okay? And the 14th one is when Ghostface calls Sydney. So that seems to be very, very late in the movie. I don't know if that would make sense or if that kind of disproves things or proves things. Another thing, and I know, I guess I'm starting it up being a little bit picky, but it's just who I am. It's just what I do, right? I don't understand these leaks that they keep referencing. I love leaks. I love talking about leaks. I know not everybody does, because half the time, especially for Scream, I don't even think, I actually don't think most of them are actually real. Not even half the time, most of the time. But what's interesting is they keep, and we've seen this actually before, not just in these track leaks, but other ones. They constantly refer to other leaks that, at least for me, I've never seen them before. I've tried to keep track of leaks that have come out for this movie. I've made lots of videos, and I love making them, but I don't know exactly. So, like, when they say the Billy Loomis ghost thing, maybe in Sam's dream, like that supposed leak had mentioned. What leak was that? I've never... Why would Sam dream of the past? Why would Sam dream of Scream 1996? Why, like, does that make sense to anybody? I don't really... Does she know what Billy Loomis looks like? Because your brain can't, like, just... It's not going to make the facial character of Billy Loomis if you have no idea who that guy is. You know what I mean? So, like, does she see a picture of him? Does she talk to Sydney? Like, I don't really understand that. The Judy and Wes thing, that's very interesting. A few weeks back, I literally made a video talking about, like, would Wes be the killer, which is Dylan Minnette's character? Like, does that make sense? Is that too obvious? Well, a couple things. if this is true, I mean, that's a pretty big spoiler that I just revealed for you guys and also for me, which kind of sucks. But again, I don't even know to believe it. Like, would they kill Judy? Would they kill Judy and Wes? And maybe it's a fake out for Wes. Like, he could be a killer. He could not be. You don't know. Bonds of Blood. Also, I guess the way that they kind of frame these tracks, definitely like they're trying to build a story here, which I respect. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it could very well not be that way. You know what I mean? Bonds of Blood, which is that Judy, or right after Judy and Wes are murdered, Gale reports on it. But like Bonds of Blood, I mean, yeah, I guess you're talking about like family relationships, but you could be talking about something like Bonds of Blood could be Sydney and her mom. Like it could be another just kind of relationship between two characters. It could be the sisters, right? The Carpenter sisters. Like, we don't know. I guess the track 15 being Stu's house, again, in terms of like order when these things are happening, I guess that kind of makes sense, right? It would be towards the end of it. And then they say the 16th track is called For Wes. Now, again, this leak, the one that we read out, they more or less talk about it as just fully like a respecting Wes Craven, which, make no doubt about it, I think that's what the general purpose of the song name is. Like, when you see that, when you say For Wes, I think a lot of us would go to Wes Craven immediately. However, it could very well be so actually, maybe that would build more credibility to Wes dying, because if you're saying this is for Wes, you could very well be talking about the character, not the person, the actual, the real life person, right? So maybe that's something. The Lovers Unmasked, I mean, look, like, these things make sense. Final Girls make sense. Homecoming, I don't think that has to mean at all. Like, again, I want Kirby to come back. Trust me, I've made videos actually specifically on that as well. I know there's several Scream content creators out there that would definitely love for Kirby to come back. And I think it's possible, even at like the ending or something like that, or a mention of her. We've talked about that too. But again, I don't think just by calling the final track Homecoming, it could just mean somebody's returning home. Like, that's all it necessarily has to mean. It doesn't have to mean Kirby. It could just mean one of our characters or something. Even honestly, even Sam, right? Because she leaves and then she comes back, and I guess maybe just some sort of play on that situation, or play on the word that, like, okay, she's back home now. This is her homecoming and she's back. So it could be that. You know what I mean? So it's fun. It's fun. They're reading into it just as much as I'm reading into it. It's just we kind of have two different versions of how it would go. Ultimately, again, guys, a lot of this stuff is pure speculation. It reads good. A lot of the leaks that I have read, out loud for Scream sound good, but a lot of things do contradict each other. They can't all possibly be right. That's absolutely for sure. Then you definitely have kind of layers of, sometimes leaks will just make its way. There's like a leak that like Dewey dies in the beginning and all this stuff. And I, I'm not saying that to upset. There, people will be like, oh my God, you just spoiled it. But again, the thing is, these are just random things that get through. Somebody claimed Selena Gomez like for sure dies, but we don't even know that she's in it. Or, and it's actually pretty possible she's not in it. So all of these leaks, they're fun to read out. I do just want to make that clear. And even from like myself, I mean, I don't want to be spoiled, so I guess there is a part of me that hopes that none of it is real. This is all just fun, speculation, things for us to talk about. And then when we see the movie, all of it is wrong, and we just kind of get some fun stuff, some stuff that we're not really expecting. That's what I hope for really badly, because I don't want to be spoiled, but I also do want to, I put myself in harm's way when I read this stuff, which is kind of my own fault and also kind of not. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Make sure, as always, to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And a rare video on a Friday. Normally they're on Tuesdays. We will pick up on Tuesday again, this upcoming one. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter or subscribe to my second channel or support us on Patreon and YouTube memberships, links for all of them are in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.